The Bernie Madoff of the sneaker market. A rare sneaker broker who made $300 million and rode a $29,000 Louis Vuitton bike around his mansion is arrested after taking $70 million of orders and failing to supply Jordans and Yeezys. So let's get right into it. A rare sneaker broker who made $300 million by scamming customers out of more than $70 million worth of shoes has been arrested for his Ponzi like scheme. Michael Malekzadek, the former owner of Zadea Kicks, a now defunct company that sold limited edition and collectible sneakers online, has been arrested and charged for defrauding financial institutions out of more than $15 million. So Malik Zada, 39, from Eugene, Oregon, has been charged with wire fraud, conspiracy to commit bank fraud, and money laundering. His fiancée, Bethany Mockerman, 39, has also been charged with conspiring with Malekzadeh to commit bank fraud. Both have pleaded not guilty, which is, an interesting thing. Because probably what's going to happen in this case is that they're probably going to hire very, 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 very well paid lawyers where they are probably going to have to either deal with house arrest or actually go to prison but for a short amount of time. Because the type of money that we're talking about, it would not be surprising for them to end up hiring a lawyer that is extremely skilled to protect them. That being said, it is so messed up to scam people out of this type of money. And what's also, I think it's crazy that the sneaker business is so big, right? Because, to me personally, right? I don't really care about sneakers. That's just me personally, right? I just like, oh, it's a shoe. Okay, whatever, right? That's my point of view on shoes. But I do know people where, like, they freak out about their shoes, or they, like, get really annoyed seeing really bad shoes on people for some reason. So in early 2020, Zadea Kicks began offering pre-orders of sneakers before their public release dates by being able to get his hands on the rarest Nike Air Jordans and Yeezys. And because the items weren't yet on the market, Malik Zadea was able to collect the money up front before fulfilling customer orders. Now here's the thing, right? If you ever run a business, unless you have like unlimited funds or you have extremely good processes, you should really not try to do any sort of pre-orders at all, right? Because that could just lead you down to a really bad path where you constantly make bad choices. Like, it's not a good thing. Like, be very, very, very careful. So it is alleged that he advertised, sold, and collected payments from customers for pre-orders, knowing full well he couldn't satisfy all the orders that had been placed. The scheme is alleged to have continued throughout 2021, according to the feds. Malekzadea's fraud ran for years and unraveled in months. See, this is the thing that bothers me too. Is like whenever I see someone like commit some of these like Ponzi schemes and whatnot, right? It always bothers me because like you are smart enough to collect so much money through a process, right? But you're not smart enough to just do it legally, right? Like, there's nothing stopping him from doing this process legally and still making millions upon millions of dollars legally, right? But no, it's like I don't understand why people keep going past the limit of legal to try to make more and more and more money. Because in the grand scheme of things, right? Let's for example say like, oh, you're able to make $1 million a year after tax legally doing whatever it is that you're doing to make that $1 million, but it's all legal, right? But if you were to go down the illegal route, you'll make $10 million, right? There's not really a difference in terms of lifestyle between 10 million and a million. So why are you putting your life at risk committing crimes for money that won't really even change your lifestyle? Like it won't really actually do anything for you other than you just making more money. Like it just doesn't make any sense, right? Like why put your life like living free at risk for money that will not have any impact on your life. And this is the reality that a lot of people don't even understand. If you're making after tax about $8,000 a month, I'll just say, guess what? That could pretty much pay for almost any sort of lifestyle you want. You could technically lease or buy a brand new Lamborghini Huracan or Aventador or Rolls Royce or whatever. So you could technically drive whatever car you want if you want to go down that route. You could pay the mortgage or rent on a mansion, right, in various states while also paying for the dream car or whatever, right? You could pretty much go on to trips. You could eat whatever you want. You could get a personal trainer. You could get a maid. You could get a butler. You could get people doing all of your yard work around your house. You could put money towards investments. You could literally fulfill every sort of need or want that you have, making about 100K after tax, 80K after tax. Like, that's still a lot of money. But I'm just saying, it's like after a certain point of money that you bring in per year, things don't really change in your lifestyle too much other than, instead of this box that I'm driving, I'm going to have a slightly little bit nicer looking box. And even then, that's all about perception, right? Because some people hate the look of like a Rolls Royce. Some people hate the look of like a Porsche because it looks like a bug. Some people hate the look of an Audi. Some people hate the look of a Lamborghini or a Ferrari, right? People have their own personal tastes too. So it's like what might look like crap might still cost like 200, $400,000. So it just never makes sense to me personally as to why people are willing to risk their lives and their freedom to make more money when that money has basically no impact on their life overall. So, in one such scheme, Malik Zaddah began selling pre orders of Nike Air Jordan 11 cool gray sneakers. He put the sneakers on sale for between $115 and $200 a pair, far cheaper than their expected retail price of around $225. The company received and accepted pre-order sales for more than 600,000 pairs of sneakers, resulting in payments to Malik Zadeh of more than $70 million dollars. But he had nowhere close to the number of sneakers needed. In fact, he was only able to acquire roughly 6,000 pairs for the 600,000 orders. See, like in this situation, it seems like overall, for the majority of the time, it seems like he was actually doing it legally, but then just got money hungry or something. Like, I just don't understand, right? Because he did originally have 6,000 pairs, but he got 600,000 orders. Like, it's just a really weird situation, right? And okay, let's see. So from this little photo thing, Malik Zadea would regularly flaunt his perceived wealth and luxury items, including pricey watches and luxury cars. Interesting. In one such scheme, let's see. By April, Malik Zadea owed customers more than 70 million in undelivered sneakers and unknown additional millions held by customers in worthless company gift cards. The following month, his business was dissolved, while Malik Zaya's social media accounts were also scrubbed. Before that, Malik Zaya showed off his collection of Ferraris and Gerard Perregaux timepiece and posted pictures of him riding around on the $29,000 Louis Vuitton bicycle inside his Oregon mansion, according to the blog NiceKicks.com. In the last 2 years alone, it's estimated that he spent more than $10 million of the pre-order money on luxury items for himself and his fiancée, Mockerman, including watches, furs, and handbags. Federal authorities have alleged the pair used customer money to make a down payment on a house together with $600,000 of remodeling work. In a court filing, the company states that it experienced exponential growth in business from January 2020 to May 2022, primarily owing to pre-orders, and that it was unable to keep up with the rapid growth because of inadequate internal systems and processes. Mockerman, who is Zadea Kick's chief financial officer, allegedly conspired with Malik Zadea to provide false and altered financial information to numerous financial institutions, including providing altered bank statements on more than 15 bank loan applications. Together, Mockerman and Malik Zadea received more than $15 million in loans from such bank applications. And as part of the government's ongoing criminal investigation, federal agents have now seized millions of dollars in cash and luxury goods that Malik Zadea acquired with the proceeds of his alleged fraud. The seized items include nearly 100 watches. Why the hell do you need 100 watches? Some valued at over $400,000, jewelry, and hundreds of luxury handbags. Now, that being said, if you have the money legally to buy 100 watches, go ahead and buy it. But again, this is the thing that I don't understand. So you committed allegedly all this fraud just so you could buy more watches, more jewelry? Like, really? More than 59,780 pairs of shoes are also in the hands of a court-appointed receiver who needs to sell them off as soon as possible in a bid to raise funds for those defrauded, though the amount raised is unlikely to cover what the victims are owed. This is a Bernie Madoff-sized scam for the sneaker market. Michael Schneider, a sneaker reseller, told the Wall Street Journal reported, "He definitely had this image of being the end-all, be-all backdoor plug." Reportedly stocked in Malik Zadea's warehouse are 4,700 Yeezys, 8,500 Adidas shoes, and 48,000 Nike shoes, many of which are believed to be highly coveted Air Jordans, plus about 1,100 pairs from Malik Zadea's personal collection. The lot is estimated to have a value between 12 million and 20 million, Fortune reported. And thousands of people and businesses have filed claims, with one creditor suggesting they are owed $15 million. Court documents reveal the company had 23,000 customers, with unfilled orders stretching back to 2018. Nearly $6.4 million in cash has also been seized, which was the result of Malik Zadea's sale of watches and luxury cars manufactured by Bentley, Ferrari, Lamborghini, Porsche, and others. Malik Zadea and Mockerman are said to be cooperating with the investigation, including the seizure of their assets. And the most serious of Malik Zadea's conspiracy to commit bank fraud carries a maximum 30-year prison sentence if convicted. Now, here's the thing. I don't think that they're going to get convicted in the way that some people might want them to be. But here's the thing. It's just like, I feel like what happened was that he originally did things legally, then started to realize how easy it was for him to generate money, then got greedy, then got into a position where he was like, "Oh crap, I bit too much that I like bit too much of basically the cow, right? And now I gotta think of a way out of this or work through this or something, right? That's kind of the way that I feel like. The only problem with that line of thinking, though, is that the whole like $50 million like bank loan fraud situation is like, oh, okay, well, that kind of makes it seem like you guys are just fraudsters, right? So I don't know. Let's see. I'm more shocked at the 29,000 Louis Vuitton bike. I don't get why there would even be a $29,000 Louis Vuitton bike. Imagine being the morons who buy these stupid sneakers. This guy's a genius for ripping off so many fools. Interesting. You reap what you sow. I don't feel bad for this guy and his wife. I hope they rot in jail for a long time. Still scratching my head, wondering why anyone would pay to collect something so mundane as sneakers, let alone pay upfront to pre order. One born every minute, I suppose. This is the thing. Everyone has their own like passion or interest and whatnot, so I'm definitely not going to insult people for that. My only thing is how much money do you have at your disposal to toss at stuff like sneaker collection? Because sneaker collecting is not really a cheap hobby from what I've seen. Like there's people that have like $10,000, $20,000 sneaker collections, right? Like it's crazy, right? And I don't really understand why, but like people do that. Like I mean, for me, like I sweat so much, I don't like I just destroy my shoes. So it wouldn't even make sense for me personally to buy really expensive shoes. Made in China junk merchandise. And that's the funny thing too. Like a lot of these shoes are made in like slave factories. So he could have had a great life if he wasn't a brainless reprobate. Anyone stupid enough to spend that much money on some fly kicks deserve to lose it. Interesting. Let's see anymore. Let's see. What sort of mugs pay months in advance for butt ugly shoes? Hilarious how stupid people are. And again, this is all about interest, right? There's people that would literally spend like hundreds of thousands of dollars to pre order a watch that is an extremely rare watch, right? Like the watch industry is like a multi-billion-dollar per year industry. Same thing with the sneaker industry, right? Like that is a multi-billion-dollar industry. Like people spend money on some very interesting things. This story illustrates three things. One, a fool and his money are easily parted. Two, the Enron smartest guys moniker is personified by Michael in 2022. Three, the huge wraparound tattoos around both legs are huge mistrust red flags. I personally will not buy candy from him. Let's see. Anything else? My, how greedy and pompous can one be? What he did is no different than straight up stealing because he knew he couldn't fulfill the orders. Enjoy the federal prison system. Hopefully, you will visit USP Atlanta. It's one of the worst federal prisons in the country, and your lady should be turned out in some women's prison. Enjoy. Interesting. Yeah, see, like, I just don't understand. People spend some crazy money on some really absurd things. Feel free to give your thoughts. I mean, if you stumble upon this and you're like a sneaker collector, I mean, give your thoughts as to why people would spend a lot of money collecting sneakers. Interesting.